Hello, so I just thought I'd show you how I did this black smoke red lip glowy skin look in detail, because I don't normally go into detail on my eyeshadow on my IGTVs. But yeah, I'm just starting off with the DB11 brush from Doll Beauty and P. Louise base, and I've just packed that all over my lids. And then I'm going in with the OTT orange base from P. Louise, and I'm just buffing that in a circular shape on my eyes. I'm keeping that rounded as a guide for where I want my shadow to go, and I've gone with the orange base. To be honest, it was a bit of a trial and error. I've never used it like this before, but I wanted just to see how it would work, and also I know the blend's going to be quite warm. Now I'm going in with Mafia from the Mama Mitchell palette, just on a little studio packer brush, and I'm just packing that in a rounded shape. Now, because this is my darkest colour and because it's black specifically, I need to make sure that the shape in this is really like as perfect as I want it, because especially with black, there's no room for mistakes. Like, it will show if it goes wrong. Basically, that was just me piecing pouting looking like a raccoon. And now I'm going in with Emily brush from Molly O'Brien, and this is clean, and I'm just softening the edges of that black. I find this a crucial step when I'm doing a black blend, because often it can be really hard to blend black out with other colours. So if you soften the edges of the black so it's not as harsh, it's a lot easier when you're going with your second colour. So here I've just gone in on that same brush, but with Meh this time, so it's not clean anymore, and I'm just going 50% on the black and 50% off the black on the skin, but it's actually sort of on where I've faded out the black a bit more. It just helps with the blend so much. Try it next time you do it. And then I'm going in with the Gracie brush from Molly O'Brien and Macaroni from the Mitchell palette, and this, it looks like a disgusting colour in the pan, but honestly it's the most beautiful warm colour to blend out a brown with. And again, I'm just keeping that rounded shape. So once I'm happy with that, I'm just taking the Shar brush from Molly O'Brien again, and I'm mixing Modest and Manchester from the same palette, and I'm just buffing out the edges with that, making sure to buff over the top of any remaining orange base. I'm also slightly bringing out that Modest and Manchester shade mix, but just because it's like a bronzy shade, so it'll mix in with my foundation better. And I've also gone back in and repeated all of my blends. So there you can see, there's my eyeshadow, looking like a raccoon. Now I'm using the Molly brush from Molly O'Brien and the Revolution gel eyeliner. I decided to do this before I do my face because I don't want any black falling out, because then I set it with the Mafia shade from the Mitchell palette as well. And now I've just gone in with the Superdrug Vitamin E Intense Moisture Cream on a Lily brush from Molly O'Brien, and I'm just making sure that I've buffed that all in. Next, I'm using the Honeydew Me Up primer from NYX, and I'm just buffing that over the same brush. I do really like this primer for when I'm doing dewy skin all the time, basically. And there's just me being fancy with the editing with the Hydrating Mist from Superdrug. And I've mixed together for my foundation the Maybelline Superstay and the Dream Radiant Liquid with a little bit of the Revolution Liquid Highlight Drops. So I'm just patting that into my face with the P brush from Molly O'Brien. As you can see there, literally draw it on my face, and then I just pat it in all over my face. I don't swipe, I pat, because I find if I swipe then it goes patchy and it doesn't blend in as nicely. If you're patting your foundation in with a brush and you're finding it leaves indents in your face, then you are patting it in too hard. You need to be softer with your face. Then I've just gone in with the e.l.f. Hydrating Camouflage Concealer and a bit of the MUA Pro Base Concealer as well, and I'm just blending that out with a Real Techniques Point S brush at first. Then I've gone back in with my foundation brush, and now I'm using the Nat brush from Molly O'Brien. This is honestly the nicest brush for concealer. It just makes it look so smooth. And then I've just used my foundation brush again just on the rest of my face where I put concealer. I'm just going back in with my Shar brush just to blend that in with the concealer, just so there's no lines. And now I'm using the Revolution Fast Base Stick in F13 for cream contour / bronzer. I like to put this directly on the brush. I don't like to draw it on my face other than on my nose, because I don't want to move my foundation underneath. So I've put quite a bit of this on because I feel like it just completely transforms me, and I needed transforming this day, to be honest with you. I've gone around my mouth a little bit, on my nose, on my cheeks, and now I'm just blended it in with a Real Techniques sculpting brush. Literally all you need to do with this is just pat it in, and it literally blends itself. It's the nicest product to work with, and it blends in so easily. If you're scared of cream contour, try using this, because I used to be, and now I can't live without it. So as you can see, I keep going back in with my foundation brush just to make sure everything's seamlessly blended together, and I have just used the foundation brush again to clean up underneath my contour, so it's looking sharp. And then I've gone back in with my concealer just on my nose, as I had a really brown nose. And next I'm using the P. Louise OTT Orange Base as blush. You've seen me do this before, but I just blend it on my hand so that it's all like a flat layer all blended in, and then I literally go straight in with the brush. I don't like to go with my fingers. I just used a little bit on my chin from my finger because it was left over and I didn't want to waste it. But yeah, and then I'll come back in with my concealer brush just to blend together where my concealer and my blush meet, and just over my nose again with the blush. As you can see throughout my base, I keep going back in with my foundation brush. I just find this is key to making everything seamlessly blend together. Now I'm just using the RCMA No Colour powder just underneath my eyes, nowhere else on my face, just underneath my eyes, and then I'm going in with the Collection Glow Matte Bronzer on a Daz brush from Molly O'Brien. As you can see, I like to pat this in. I don't like to swipe because I don't want to move any of the creams underneath. And next, this is the Molly O'Brien Arabella brush, and I'm just using Mr. H from the eyeshadow palette that we used just as a blush. Going over the top of all the places that I used the cream blush, and now I'm using Josh Cosmetics Promise on a Doll Beauty DB1 brush just over the top of where I blushed as well. Now's the exciting part. I'm using Josh Cosmetics Cream for my highlighter, and I'm just using that on a Fran brush from Molly O'Brien as well. I do this on both sides of my face, but I only showed one side because it's the same thing, so you don't need to see it twice. I just highlighted above the brow bone there. That's the first day I did it was today, and I absolutely loved it. Now I'm just going back in with the Vitamin E Hydrating Mist and the NYX Dewy Setting Spray. Next we're on to brows, and I'm using the Pink Honey Glue, the original Super Hold one. So I've just sprayed my spoolie with just some water, and then I'm like rotating the spoolie as I go through my brows. I don't like to push my brows down to my forehead. I just feel like it makes me look so weird if I do that. But yeah, I like to make them look all bushy. And finally for my brows, I'm just drawing in a few hair strokes with Monday from the same palette and the Molly brush from Molly O'Brien as well. I did wet the brush just to make sure that it was as fine as possible. And now I've just gone in with some blank canvas on my waterline, and I'm repeating my blends underneath my eyes, making sure to keep them rounded. So I've just used the Emily brush, the Jade brush, the Gracie brush and the Shar brush underneath my eye, just again with the same colours, just to keep the blend underneath. And now I'm using the Gosh The Red Ultimate Lip Liner, I think it's called. Honestly, this is the best red. It's so nice, and it does not budge. Reds can be very scary because sometimes you'll put a red on and you know it's going to go everywhere, or if it's a matte lipstick it can be too dry. It's just, you know, a mess. But honestly, these are so good, and I've just gone in with the Gym Bob just with a bit of foundation to clean up the edges. And then I'm using the OTT Orange Base that we used on our eyes just in the middle of my lip, and honestly this makes the lip complete. I saw Lexi do this and I'm absolutely obsessed with it now. I cannot not do it when I do a red lip. By the way, I'm so sorry for the light in here. The sun had gone down, but there's me just feeling myself. And yeah, that's the final look. Thank you so much for watching.